mind. So today's topic is going to be about the habits of highly successful people. It is said that insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's also the definition of poor habits. So we're going to be talking about those 10 success habits that all successful people have. Now, what's really interesting about this is no matter what profession you're in, no matter whether it's a sport, whether it's business, whether you're a high producer with a company, most people who are very successful have the same habits. And so they say that success leaves a clue. When you see something that everyone is doing, that is a clue. It is something that you should begin to model. So when I began to figure this out, I also listened to this audio, and it said that it actually defined the habits of highly successful people. Now, as I listened, what I began to realize were the people that I admired, the people I modeled, the people that were my role models, the people that I wanted to be like. As I listened to the call, I could check off that they had the exact same habits. If I go back into when I was younger, the people who had the most influence over me had many of these habits. Now, if you've read my book, Leading with Character, you'll know that your character is a sum total of your habits expressed over time. Your character is your sum total of your habits expressed over time. So the question is, what habits do you want to have foundational to build your character? Now, your character is also how you're known in the world, how you're known in the marketplace, how people see you. And your habits can be moving you towards how you want to be known, or towards your goals, or away from how you want to be known, or away from your goals. And imagine the shifting of one habit could be the difference between you having all the success you're looking for or not. You know, if you've heard me speak before, I've spoken about a friend of mine who is brilliant, talented, extraordinary in so many areas of his life. And if you looked at him, you would say, this person is so brilliant, so talented, so gifted. He should have the most success. But he had one habit that actually diminished and took away from him. It was a habit of punctuality, the habit of doing things on time, getting to places on time. And what happened was, because people saw him as unreliable, they would not hire him for the big deals, the important deals. And it wasn't because he wasn't capable. It wasn't because he wasn't brilliant. It was because he did not exhibit one habit that everybody was counting on: to do what you say you're going to do and do it on time, punctuality. Right? Which collapses with the habit of integrity. And he kept getting passed over and passed over for the best jobs, although he was qualified. So this is what I want you to think about. What are your habits like? I know for me, when I started working from home, when I quit my job and started working from home, I tell people I thought I had great habits until I was left alone without a boss and left to my own devices. And then I realized that my habits weren't that good. Because really what was containing me and having me do certain things was I had a structure called a job, and there was this leverage called a paycheck. And because I wanted, those two things were very real to me, I did things on time. I hit deadlines. But when it was just for Suzanne, I began to realize that my habits weren't as good as I wanted them to be. So my first years in business, the focus was really beginning to create success habits. Now, a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people don't have the structure that they would when they go off to work. So really why I wanted to do this live was to really help you begin to examine and look at your habits and really ask yourself, am I as productive as I want to be in the day? Am I getting things done? Am I distracted? Am I overwhelmed? Because often it has to do with your habits. Now, what's a habit? Your habit is your automatic way of being. It's the things you do without thinking, over and over and over again. And why it creates your character is anything we do with repetition begins to be how we're known. So think about how you're known, and this might be an opportunity to shift how you are known in the marketplace to your family and friends. So I want to just outline for you the habits of highly successful people, because when I got to know this, I began to model these habits. I said I was going to embody this, because if it was creating success and I wanted success, why would I not do what all successful people were doing. So this is the first habit I want to talk about, and it's visionary. All successful people are visionaries. So what is a visionary? A visionary is someone who looks into the future and casts a picture. They paint a picture of what they believe they can achieve in the future. They go beyond what's comfortable, and they create something out of nothing. Think about it. So most successful people are these visionaries. They have the ability to create an idea and relate to it as real. But not only do they have the ability to create an idea and relate it as real, the idea that they often create is bigger than them. A vision is often bigger than you. I always say it scares you, but most importantly, it includes other people. It requires the assistance of other people to have it occur, but it also benefits other people in most cases. So these are visionaries, and they come up with these ideas that have an impact on the world. So I want you to think of someone like Martin Luther King. I want you to think of Oprah. I want you to think of people who you are inspired by. These are the visionaries. And what's interesting about them is they don't just have a vision that impacts them, it's impacting the world. And they go from idea to idea to idea. So number one habit of a successful person is they are a visionary. The next thing is they have a clear purpose. Now, this is really interesting because these are people that are pulled into action by a purpose. And a purpose is your reason for being, truly. Now, oftentimes people go, how do I get to my purpose? I have found that how most visionaries, most people get to their purpose is they're in action, in the act of creating. They're in the act of doing. They have done many things. And along that journey, and as they grow, they get to this place where they know, like they know their name, that this is what they're called to do. Your purpose doesn't just land in you. That is very rare. You usually figure it out as you go on this lifelong journey, and then something sticks. And you say, this is what I was called to do. This is what I've been prepared for. This is what all these things that I have been doing these many years has been preparing me for. So they have a clear purpose. Now, this is another interesting one. They have a positive self-image. Now, this I found was fascinating when I first heard of the positive self-image. That means I think I believe in myself. This is not only belief in self, this is certainty about who you are and what you are able to create in the world. This doesn't mean that you have all the answers. This doesn't mean that you know always what to do, but this is a trust in yourself and in the greatness that lives within you, that you know that no matter what comes your way, you will be able to find a solution. You will be able to find an answer. You will be able to get over every challenge. They have such a strong self-image that they are certain in their capacity to win. Isn't that interesting? So let me see what people are saying. Be the visionary, Taria is saying. Awesome, thank you. And a vision doesn't just include you, it's bigger than you. Thank you for that share. All right, so what's the next one? So not only, this is a big one. Successful people, one of the habits is they're intentional. Now, what that means is they set clear goals and clear targets. They work with intention and focus. They know exactly what they're going to do each day and each week. They work from quarter to quarter. These are people who have laser focus, and they line up their behaviors with their intention. These are the people that probably work from a schedule, right? And get more done in a morning than many people do in the whole day or even a week. They have laser focus and they are intentional. Now, the next one they have is they're committed. Now, this is another really important and interesting habit. Why? Because commitment means that you do what you say you're going to do long after the emotion or the excitement that had you say yes to it is gone. These are people that pursue something until completed, not until I hit a roadblock, not until bored, not until too stressed, not until they hit a challenge, but until completed. That means that they do what they say they're going to do. There's that integrity again. They are their word. So that is a habit. They are committed. But then there's another habit that they all have. It's persistence. Now, when I heard the person who gave me this list speak, they said that that people who are highly successful understand that persistence gives commitment life. When I heard that, I was like, wow, persistence gives commitment life. What they mean by that is you can't be committed without the willingness to persist in the face of I don't know, in the face of challenges, in the face of uncertainty. So in these days and these times that we're living now, the committed and persistent people are going to be those individuals who rise, because they will see a challenge and they will rise to the occasion, and they will persist until they find a solution. These are the people that keep things moving. These are the people we often count on, because we know that they will not drop the ball. They will work until they find an answer, till they find a solution. Now, this is the next habit of highly successful people. They have an uncanny ability to manage their emotions. So in other words, their highs never get too high, so they're never way over the top excited, and their lows never get too low. In terms of managing their emotions, and this is a mastery, right? Emotional mastery. What I'm really saying is no matter what's going on, they are even. These are individuals that do not let what's happening outside in the external world impact their internal landscape. So what's going on out there doesn't determine their attitude, their mood, and their belief. Think about that. Now, isn't that a valuable habit to have in today's day and age, when we're experiencing the unknown? Everything around us is unpredictable. What highly successful people have learned is to manage their emotions, so their emotions don't get caught up in what's going on. In other words, their emotions do not determine their mood. Their emotions do not determine their attitude. Their emotions do not determine whether they keep moving or whether they fulfill on a task. They're able to manage it, and they're able to distinguish between how they're feeling and what they're called to do. That is definitely a skill that many people do not have. Let's see what else we have on the list. They are enthusiastic. Now, enthusiastic, you could say they're passionate, they're high energy. And I'm not talking rah, rah, loud. I'm talking that when you meet with them and they convey a message to you, they convey it with such energy, certainty, and enthusiasm that it's infectious, that their belief is almost transferred to you. Their way of being has you want to connect with them. They're magnetic in how they show up, and you often are left thinking, I don't know what they're doing, but I want to be a part of that. I'm going to hitch my wagon to their wagon. They have that level of enthusiasm. The other habit of highly successful people is they value time. They relate to time as one of the most valuable commodities that they have. They respect and honor their time. And again, I said, these are people that often work from a schedule. These are people that arrive early, right? And they honor their time and they honor your time. And you know, one of the things I learned about this managing time piece was, in doing so, we often teach people how to treat us, how to interact with us. We see, when we value our time and we honor our time, people learn that we value who we are, and that we value what we bring to the table, and we know that our time is valuable. So successful people have a way of really making what they do, the hours in the day, count. So these are people that don't understand time mastery, because people go, you know, how's your time mastery? They have learned that we can't have time mastery. The only thing that they can actually do is master how they show up in the 24 hours of the time that we get every day. So the question is, how are you using your time? How do you master yourself in time? How are you showing up? And the final one is personal integrity. And as I said, this was one of my favorite ones. This was one that shifted everything for me. Highly successful people know that their personal integrity is everything. Doing what they say they're going to do for themselves is how they build their confidence. It's how they build their belief. It's how they build their certainty in their capacity to fulfill on what they say they're going to do. You see, what's interesting about personal integrity is it actually creates the conversation we have in our head. How many of you have committed to something and a voice popped up and said to you, you know, you don't usually do what you say you're going to do. You know you're not going to do that. That's the times that you didn't sit in integrity, and now it is unconsciously, if you will, gnawing at you, speaking to you in the background. Once you start to shift that and you start following through and being your word, what happens is that voice becomes quiet. And when you commit to something, there's an energy of certainty. Remember, there's that enthusiasm, there's that energy of certainty that has the world know that this person's word is their bond. So those are the habits of highly successful people. Now, I'll tell you, one of the things that I've learned from this list was that oftentimes people talk a big game, right? People say and they speak and they try to convince you of who they are. Remember I said, your habits are your character is your habits expressed over time. What I found most powerful about this list is the people that I admired were not the people who talked a lot about what they did and what they accomplished. It were the people that impressed me by how they showed up in the world day in, day out. It was what they did on a consistent and persistent basis that really shifted me and had me admire them. It was because they were consistently showing up the same way that I got to know them as someone I wanted to model. You see, it's not what we say that determines our character. It's what we do that determines our character. And most importantly, it's when what we say and what we do creates a thing called alignment. And there's a consistency in who you are. So, you know, what I want to leave you with, as most of us are home and we're working from home, many for the first time, is to really begin to examine your habits and ask yourself, are my habits moving me towards where I want to go during these times? Or are my habits moving me away? And if they're not moving you in the right direction, what you might want to ask yourself is, what am I required to shift, change, transform? What habit can I move from good to great in so that I can begin to shift in who I am in the world, how I see myself, my belief in myself over this time when we are doing the social distancing and we're spending time alone. This is a great time to do your own personal development, your own personal work, because we have the time to do it. It's an opportunity to focus inward and begin to make some shifts. So let me see who's watching and what the comments are. I see Dawn Macon. Hi, Dawn. Wonderful to see you. And Tree is writing, are my habits moving me in the right direction? And what do I need to shift? Absolutely, great question. Have personal integrity. And I know I was talking with Cindy, who's watching, and we were talking about the power of personal integrity and the power of doing what you say you're going to do and how it creates your own self-confidence. Be enthusiastic. Oh, thank you, Taria. She has written all the habits down for us. Oh my goodness. I see Cindy is watching. Welcome, welcome. I see Richard is watching. Thank you so much for joining us. Ruth Oliver is watching. Welcome. All right. So this is a challenge I'm going to leave you with. And for those of you who've joined, my name is Suzanne Hart. The word today is mastermind. If this is something that moved you, you want to stay connected, you put mastermind in the comment section, and we'll make sure you are aware of when our lives are, but we'll also make sure that you are able to get any free gifts that we are giving away. This week, because it is the time we're in, I'm giving away free mindset mastery moments. This is a bit, some 30 minutes with me to work on whatever you need to work on as we are shifting, pivoting, challenging. It could be just your emotional mastery. It could be your habits. It could be your thinking. It could be, you know, your communication with yourself and the conversations that are running you in the background. Whatever it is, put mindset in the comments section and book a mindset mastery moment with me, and I'd be happy to serve you. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. We will be back here next week's Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our guest is Haley Petrie. Now, this is the happiness coach. I'm just saying, this is a happiness coach. She's going to talk about how you sit in this place of happiness and joy in this challenging time. How do you hold on to that feeling of joy? She's going to talk about how joy might be actually a choice and how can we create it. So join me next Thursday as I interview Haley Petrie. It is going to be a fascinating mindset mastery moment. This is Suzanne Hart saying thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here next week. Take care.